Hello Flosstube, it's Lori of Mischievous Stitches. I want to welcome all of you to my channel this weekend. I'm very glad that you're here with me. It's been a while. I've been absent for several months. I've gotten many sweet messages and cards, and I want to thank you all for your love and friendship and just concern, but I'm fine. If you remember, I think one of my last videos, I haven't went back to watch it, but so I'm just kind of winging it today. But I did get my new puppy, Hank, and even though he's a puppy, he's a big puppy now, but we spent a lot of time with him, and he has taken up all my extra time outside of work. So we've been training and walking and playing and just giving all our love and affection, our attention to Hank. And at this point, he's actually within touching distance here on the floor. But many of you that have puppies or have had a puppy know they like to chew, they get into anything and everything. They're just a handful. So coming up in my stitch room was something that I didn't do, and I wasn't crazy about letting him come up and down the stairs. He was very cautious, which is a good thing, but at the same time it just concerned me with him being so small, and even now that he's larger, it concerns me a little bit. But this weekend is the first time I've been actually up here sitting to stitch, actually today, in many months. So I do want to share with you, I have picked up some of my stitching. I took it along with me to a stitching get-together last weekend with friends, local friends from, we all met at a now closed cross-stitch shop that was here in the area. And we were figuring it up yesterday. We got together again yesterday for a monthly stitch, but I had just had my second daughter, so in '96 when we all met. And so I've known these ladies for well over 20 years, and they're a blessing to me. I miss each and every one of them. We share so many memories of get-togethers and trips and just stitches at the shop. So going back to last weekend, we get together at a local, not local, but here in South Carolina, it's Fripp Island. And we do that yearly, and me and my housemates, some of them stay for the week. I usually stay for a long weekend, and so we get together and we just spend our time stitching and eating good food and laughing and swapping stories. And I took along a piece and I've been stitching on it, and I missed it. I have missed it. So it's one of the last things I showed you in my last video, I'm sure, because I was working on it then. And I want you to know I have left it downstairs. No, hold on just a second. Sorry, I did bring it up. This is Prayer of St. Francis by Lizzie Kate. I started this back in 2018 at a get-together with my friends Mary, Natasha, and Donna. And here you go. This is it. I did see on Instagram, I believe it was just last week, that a friend and Janet Coker had just finished or just framed this piece. She had finished it and had it framed, and it was gorgeous. And so it made me happy to be finishing mine as well, to see hers completely finished. So it's good to have this whip knocked out, with it being a 2018 whip. I haven't really made any plans for this year, but my plans last year was to get my number of whips down and in a non-embarrassing number for me. So I've not counted them. I don't want to count them. I know they're out of hand, so I refuse to subject myself to that negativity. But what I did decide last year, I would not restrict myself to new starts, but I wanted to finish more than I started. I wanted to finish whips, and I haven't sat down to figure up that number. Like I said, I've just picked up my needle within the past week, a little over a week now, and maybe in the next video, maybe next weekend, I'll sit down and go over my finishes from last week and then my totals of what I got completed last year. And so that was just 8 months, so I did not stitch from, I would say, hypothetically guessing, maybe middle of August through the end of February. I mean, through the end of December. So I only stitched from January to August. And I did feel like I got a lot accomplished. I got things finished. I got things fully finished. And I want to share with you another one. I think I had dropped this off at the framer when we all last visited. And this is Southern Land by Al Forrest Designs. And I decided I wanted to get this framed because I wanted to hang this in my office at work. And I've taken it to work and just didn't want to leave it there. So I brought it back home. So here it is. It's framed in a dark blue frame. It wasn't the one I initially chose, but they had cut the frame wrong at the shop. And then when I went back, the frame that I had chosen originally that was cut incorrectly, they didn't have enough molding. It could not get that molding back in, so I had to choose another. So the blue is not matchy, but that's okay. I do think it's still a stunning piece. I think it complements it well, but again, this is Southern Land by Al Forrest Embroidery. So after finishing up Prayer St. Francis, and just think about this, I've only worked on it about a week and a half, and I finished it. Kind of shameful that I was that close to a finish and I just did not make it through. But like I said, Hank took precedence over all of that. So what I did pick up was another whip that I had been working on last year. And this is Anne Womack, 1838, and this is by Shakespeare's Peddler. Now in it, the only thing, I think I've changed both the linen color, and she calls for 40 count vintage exemplar linen by Lakeside. And then I think the red she chose was Russet Red, which is a needlepoint silk, number 207. And as we were discussing with my friend Lynn was discussing yesterday at the stitch, I'm not real crazy about the bright red Santa reds. Yeah, they look good on a Santa, but I decided to go with something a little more rich, a little more orange tone, and I chose DMC 3777. So when I picked this up earlier, I think last weekend, yeah, I finished the other piece last weekend. I finished it up, and I was missing, I think here. So I have completed, let me start over again with that. I'm telling you incorrectly. I did start there, but what I had completed is this was about midway of this. So it looks like I had completed page number 1, all but the ABCs at the bottom there are over 1. So I had finished page 1 and had moved over to page 2, but I had only gotten down to, like I said, I think it was the 3rd or 4th line of lowercase letters. So I have finished both those lines, as well as brought this one over, and hopefully, and the banding in between, and hopefully tonight I plan to finish this next line, and so that I will be moving down to those over 1 letters. So I'm very happy with my progress this week. It gave me a boost. Again, I was with my local stitch group yesterday for a monthly stitch they hosted, and those have been few and far between for me to attend the past, couple of years, I think, with COVID and just the way things have been. And so it was good to get together with them, because there was many that were there that weren't part of the Fripp house group the weekend before. So I really enjoyed it, and Hank's growing up, so we did have him, recently had him neutered. He is a very energetic dog. He keeps me busy on my toes, but he is my constant companion. He loves both me and my husband, but when I'm home, I'm his attention. So he's like my shadow. And to be honest, I love it. Who doesn't love to be someone's world? And it feels like that's me for him. But yesterday, the family come over. We grilled burgers and brats, and Hank was playing with my daughter's dog. It is her son, Lincoln. She brought him over. They're around the same size. I think Lincoln's about 6 months older than Hank. So they played solid the entire time they were here. wrestling, chasing, you know, we're playing with them with the toys, having them fetch. But those dogs wore each other out. So Hank has spent the majority of this day sleeping. He's sleeping now. It's so abnormal, but it's been great to be up here so he can be with me, but I'm not having to give him all the attention, and I can stitch a little bit, so that's good. Purchasing, I have one little thing to show. I did buy the Book of Days, and like we all do, we don't want a chart or an item to travel alone. So I did order the Book of Days for this year. I do like keeping track of what I'm working on in there, and I know there's other options, but I really do like them. I think this is my third year with the Book of Days. So I keep track. What I do in mine is I keep track of when I start something, when I finish it, but everything I've worked on in the month, I put on the outside margin, and then like the previous year, I can go back, and so anything I carry into this year, I've already got my start date written down, and I know, basically I know because I've highlighted and marked what has been finished, I'm able to bring that into this year's Book of Days. And I do really, at the end of the year, I love to sit down and total up what I've finished, what I've started, and what I'm really looking for when I do all that is ensuring that I am putting out more whips than I am starts. So I will carry that over into this year from last year. But with that being said, I did buy one little chart. I've seen several of you finish it. It's just a sweet little small red sampler, L. Genders 1875 by With Thy Needle and Thread. So I picked that one up. Something small, something I can do with like my red piece. I have this one is stitched on 40 count country mocha, and I've got plenty, so maybe I can stitch this one on this. We'll see. So the only other thing that I did pick up back in December is I have crocheted both of my daughters an Afghan, and Jacob wanted one, and I cannot wrap my head around the colors he chose. So I want to get this done, but I'm going to hold up. He wants it in black and these other colors. They're very bright, they're very cheery, but they're very much outside of what I typically stitch with. So I just need to hunker down and get it done because he's worth it. I'll get a lot of questions about Jacob. Jacob's doing great. He is still in Montana. He is still loving life. He did get to come home for almost the entire month of November, and we had not seen him in many months before that. So it was great to have him home. We took a short trip. He wanted to visit the Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. They've put in a sky bridge in Gatlinburg, Tennessee since just before he come home from basic, so he wanted to go visit there. We went to the Dillard House in North Georgia, and we went down into Pigeon Forge, just wherever he wanted to go. We spent time doing that, and it was so great to have him home and visiting with us. So just know he's doing well, and I thank you all when you ask. I thank you for caring enough to do so with Jacob. So other than that, because I've not been stitching, I don't have a lot to share with everyone, but I wanted to pop in and do that. I do need to get back up into a rhythm and stitch. Market. I see all the pictures. Thanks for everyone for posting those pictures. Designers, everyone that's there of Market. I love that bird's eye view of what's going on there, and I can't wait to see the new things that are coming out, but I'm going to try to abstain for now. Last year I kind of held off too, and I waited till I saw different ones stitching different pieces. There's only a couple that really stand out to me, which is one of the Lila's studio pieces. And then there is one from Kathy Barrick. It has the big flower. It looks like on a denim fabric. I'm really interested in both of those, but at the same time, I want to stay back and, like I said, work on my whips, see as others start to stitch them, see if they're as beautiful as I think they're going to be, and then I might hit that purchase button on my phone. But once again, everyone, have a great week. Thank you for visiting with me. Thank you for reaching out and just touching base. Just know I'm fine, I'm great, I'm healthy, I'm happy, and I'll be visiting back with you again, because visiting with you also prompts me to pick up that needle so that I have something to share. Anyway, have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.